had always kept my bedroom as my own little sanctuary. After my husband passed away 2 years ago, that room became more than just a place to sleep. It became a refuge, a place where I could cry without judgment, breathe without pressure, and occasionally indulge in my own quiet secrets. I never thought anyone would dare enter it without knocking, especially not Jason. Jason, my stepson, had always been respectful. He was 21 now, older than when I first married his father, and had grown into a thoughtful young man. He'd just come back home for the summer after finishing his junior year in college, and it took me a little by surprise how much he had changed. Taller, stronger, quieter. His eyes held something deeper, more watchful. He was always polite, but something about his energy felt different now, more aware. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon when it happened. I had just returned from the grocery store and was setting bags down on the kitchen counter when I heard footsteps upstairs. I assumed Jason was on the phone or playing music, but the sound of my bedroom door clicking open caught my attention. A strange chill ran down my spine. That door was always shut. I walked up quietly, each step suddenly louder than it should have been. When I reached the top of the stairs, I saw the door slightly ajar. Jason was inside. "Jason!" I called softly, not wanting to startle him. The door creaked open further, and he turned toward me, guilt instantly washing over his face. He stepped back from my dresser, holding something in his hand. When he realized I'd seen it, he quickly put it down. "I'm sorry," he said, voice low. "I thought you were out longer. There was a sound. I thought maybe something fell." I stepped into the room, trying to stay calm, though my heart was racing. "You didn't knock." "I know. I didn't mean to pry." But he had, and I saw exactly what he had picked up. A small velvet box that I kept buried under some scarves in my drawer. Inside was a delicate gold chain with a single crystal pendant. But that wasn't the secret. Beneath it, wrapped in a thin layer of silk, was an old photo, one I hadn't looked at in years. Me in a moment of weakness, wearing something I should have never photographed. A memory I thought I had buried long ago. I looked at the dresser, saw the edge of the silk poking out, and felt heat rise in my face. He had seen it. There was no denying it. "You shouldn't have touched my things," I said, quieter now. Jason looked down, then met my eyes again. There was something different in the way he looked at me now, something that scared me more than the intrusion itself. "I didn't mean to," he said again, but this time his voice had changed. "But I didn't know you kept something like that." He didn't elaborate, and I didn't ask him to. I walked over, took the box, and placed it back where it belonged. I didn't say another word, and neither did he. The silence was suffocating. The rest of the day passed with an uncomfortable tension between us. I tried to pretend nothing had happened, but Jason was no longer acting like the stepson I'd raised. He watched me differently. He was quieter, more deliberate, and I, in turn, felt a kind of nervous energy I hadn't felt in years. That night, as I sat on the couch reading, I heard his footsteps behind me. He stood for a moment, then finally said, "I didn't mean to upset you." I didn't turn around. "It's not about that photo." "Then what is it about?" I closed the book and turned slowly. "It's about boundaries, Jason. Some things, they're private for a reason." He nodded. "I get that." "I do. But that photo, it made me see you differently." I tensed. "You shouldn't." "But I do." He took a step closer. "You're not just my stepmom. You've always been beautiful, but I never realized." "Stop," I said, sharply standing. "This isn't right." "I know," he said, but he didn't back away. For a long moment, we just stood there, me, holding my breath, him trying to figure out how far he'd gone. I finally walked past him and went upstairs. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the hallway made me sit up. I wasn't afraid of him, but I was afraid of the emotions that had started swirling, emotions that I hadn't felt since before his father died. Emotions that were completely inappropriate, but impossible to ignore now that he had seen that part of me. Over the next few days, I tried to avoid him. I made up errands. I cooked meals while he was out. But Jason wasn't avoiding me. If anything, he lingered. He started waking early, sitting at the kitchen table when I came down, asking if I needed help with anything. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't pushy, but he was present in a way that made it impossible to forget what had happened. Then, one night, everything shifted again. I had taken a bath and come back into my room wrapped in a towel, only to realize I'd forgotten my robe downstairs. I cracked the door and peeked out. The hall was dark. I tiptoed down the steps, thinking he was asleep. But as I reached the kitchen, I found him sitting there in the shadows. He didn't speak at first. Neither did I. I was thinking about that night, he finally said. About what I saw. I clutched the towel tighter. Jason, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. I just need to understand why you kept that photo. I swallowed. Because I was lonely. Because your father was sick for so long. Because I needed to feel like a woman again, not just a caretaker. He stood slowly. You still are. Jason, please. He stepped closer. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not confused about what I feel. I know it's wrong, but it's real. I stared at him. You don't know what you're saying. I do. I've seen you cry when you thought no one was looking. I've seen how strong you were when my dad passed. And I've seen how alone you've been since. Tears welled in my eyes. He wasn't wrong. But the line between understanding and crossing over was razor thin. You're my stepson, I said. I raised you. And now I'm grown, he replied. You can pretend nothing's changed, but we both know it has. I backed away, heart pounding. This can't happen. He nodded. Then I'll keep your secret. But you can't unsee what I saw, and neither can I. He turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, trembling. After that night, everything was different. We didn't speak of it again, but the air between us remained charged. We carried on like nothing happened, but every look held meaning. Every silence spoke volumes. I never moved the photo. I left it exactly where it had always been, hidden beneath scarves. But I knew he would never go back in that drawer again. Some secrets change everything, not because of what they reveal, but because of who sees them and what they awaken. And in that quiet space between guilt and desire, we lived with the knowledge that one small discovery had changed us both forever.